It's been over a year since Tears of the Kingdom was released, but even for people who've been playing it this whole time, there are a bunch of mistakes that they're making that either ruin their progress, mess up their game file, or worse, completely ruin their entire gameplay experience.
Stop doing these!
I'm Ted.
And I'm Peter.
Welcome to the basement. Mistake number 1, Zonite.
Zonite is one of the most useful things you can get in the game, and it can take quite a while to get a lot of it. When you do the math, there's a really awful trick the game devs built in. These small crystallized charges are a huge ripoff.
I actually found one of the most fun things for me was wandering around in the depths and blowing up small enemy camps to steal all their Zonite, but even that gets old when you're trading 3 for only 1 crystallized charge.
Yeah, I don't know how they came to that price, but people fall for it all the time. You get 1/100th of a third of a battery upgrade for 3 Zonite. That means you're trading 1 Zonite for 0.001 full battery upgrade. It only takes 9 Zonite to make a hover bike with auto build, and that's if you don't use any Zonite devices in the construction.
I made this mistake too, but when I realized how easy it can be just to find crystallized charges and collect them from enemies in the depths, it turns out that Zonite is actually much better as a fuel source, just kept in your inventory for auto build purposes.
That's right, Cat Ghost. You can get crystallized charges in a lot of different ways, but no matter what, you have to grind to find the Zonite. Save it for a literally rainy day when you need to gain some elevation.
But I need to upgrade my battery, you say. Focus on turning in large Zonite, fighting larger enemies like Flux Constructs, Depths Lynels, Boss Arenas, Master Koga, and exploring Yiga hideouts and chests you find in the depths. You'll get a lot more bang for your buck and still have that sweet, sweet Zonite for when you need it.
Mistake number 2, flying.
This thing, right here, it's awesome. But let's be clear, it can ruin your game. We now know from playing through TOTK so many times that even though this is a quick way to get around, 90% of the fun you're going to have in this game is on foot. If you fly everywhere as soon as you can, you're only going to have 10% of the fun Nintendo designed for you to have.
It's become clear to us that Nintendo painstakingly made this game to be explored in many different ways, and unless you utilize all of these methods, you'll miss out on everything the Land of Hyrule has to offer.
I remember in my first playthrough, I was so used to traveling quickly through the sky because of bomb launching in Breath of the Wild that I spent most of my travel time in the air. I'd launch up with the tower and glide to my next destination.
Yeah, me too. I think because Breath of the Wild was pretty empty, I just assumed this game would have a lot of empty space. From spending more time on the ground, though, I'm realizing that while you can rush through the game, there are great things to be found if you just slow down and smell the roses. Oh yeah, that's pee. Wait. Yep.
Explore every cave you find. Take out all the enemy camps. Try to find the routes you're intended to take in the depths. Remember that Tears of the Kingdom rewards you for fighting random enemies. Because in Breath of the Wild, the only thing you'd really get a lot of the time was damage to your precious weapons. In Tears of the Kingdom, though, there's a big payoff for the curious explorer.
Mistake number 3, ignoring Yiga hideouts.
In my quest to unlock all the light routes in the depths, I actually skipped a ton of Yiga hideouts in my first playthrough. Turns out, they're some of the most fun, unique things in the whole game.
I think a lot of people skip them because the reward feels kind of small. When you think about it, you get a free schematic, basically a free favorite slot for certain useful auto builds, and 20 crystallized charges. That's the equivalent of finding 60 Zonite in a chest toward a battery upgrade.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
don't sleep on these. They are easily one of the more fun things in the game. Unlike normal enemy camps, each Yiga hideout is designed with a different gimmick or strategy to overcome, and they are incredibly enjoyable. The journal entries are usually pretty darn funny too.
You can find them on the map because they look like this when you zoom in. So do yourself a favor, mark them on your map, and go check them out.
Mistake number 4, Sidon. This is a mistake that people make all the time, myself included. At first glance, Sidon, even though he's a handsome Chad, seems to have one of the weakest powers in the game. I mean, it doesn't even hurt enemies, and unlike Daruk's protection from Breath of the Wild, it only activates once automatically when you get hit. So that makes Sidon's avatar the weakest and most useless of the bunch, right?
Wrong! First of all, with Zoro weapons, you could deal double damage when you're wet, and this damage buff stacks, baby.
Buff stacks, baby, buff stacks.
Buff stacks, baby! You can get one of the highest damage per second outputs in the game from this effect. Each time you activate Sidon's water bubble, you'll stay wet after it's gone for an additional 30 seconds.
Plus, if you shoot a shock elemental arrow through the bubble, it'll automatically create that larger shock burst. Couple that with the invulnerability the bubble gives you for one hit, and the Sidon avatar goes from the bottom of the tier list all the way to the top. Okay, so we're going to take a quick second to show you how powerful this actually is.
Don't wake him up this time. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Also eat your attack up meal. He's not even going to know what hit him. He's going to think it's a bad dream. And then he'll wake up in Korok heck. Are you ready to die? Yep. Didn't even get the name of him or the life bar.
Wow! Come at me, bro.
Get wet. Dude, you gotta get wet.
You're right.
Sidon. Excuse me, but would you like to be in a...
Shoot. Well, I'm still wet, though.
Yeah,
think,
and
right?
that blocked the hit.
Shoot.
How cool is that?
Come on.
That's another reason Sidon's great, is that water bubble is like Daruk's protection, one use. That does a pretty good amount. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Here we go. Watch that health bar. Whoa!
You're still
And-
wet. You're gonna kill him.
Oh!
Dude, that is awesome.
Wow!
Mistake number 5, assuming it's all over. When you beat Tears of the Kingdom, it can be easy to feel like, well, I beat it, and move on. But that's where you're dead wrong. First of all, there's a ton to explore and do in this game, and I'd venture to say that doing the stuff outside of the main quest is actually more rewarding than the main quest itself. That's not the point here.
If you just stop after beating the final boss, you've probably only scratched the surface of the fun you can have with Tears of the Kingdom, not only because it can be a lot more fun and rewarding to work toward a 100% game file.
Start a new game file and do a challenge run. For real. We've played a ton of different challenge runs, different games. Tears of the Kingdom challenge runs are among the most fun. Because of the way they made this game, it's more like a sandbox. You really have to put your creativity to the test to complete a challenge run.
For example, we played through a Tears of the Kingdom as a Yiga Clan member and set up a few Yiga Clan rules that we would have to abide by. And it might be my favorite way to play through Tears of the Kingdom to date.
It was a really fun one. You can actually check that video out right now. It's on screen. And if you click on it, we'll see you over there.
In the basement.